Okay, we're rolling. Hey, hello, Prabha.
Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Ooh.
Well, I think anyone who's come into contact with you or has spent any time with you has noticed hugely how amazingly positive you are, how much you go out of your way to, yeah, make other people laugh, make other people feel good. You're just someone who is so generous in so many ways. And what has always amazed me, and there's always been the question there for me, is like, how did you get to this point? I don't know many people in my everyday life who are as positive as you are. And that is not a fake thing for you. That's something that it just like exudes from you. Like there's such a light that comes from you. And I know that you have been through so many challenges
Mhm.
throughout your whole life, having limited vision and then losing it completely. Like, I could understand if you were bitter and angry with the world, or if, you've been through things that were scary and challenging. And
Ah, yes.
yeah, but I don't, like, how did you become
Ooh,
this
this.
this amazing light? Like, how did you get through this? And I think it's relevant right now because I think so many people
I
are
think.
facing change
Mm,
themselves.
mm,
So, like, how?
how? I think every moment in my life, every incident is actually a teaching opportunity for me. For me to reflect on life, the fact that um, life is impermanent and it's nature to change. So therefore, it's all about being in that moment and learning and enjoying whatever it's available. It's just that being content with that moment and what that moment is, because when you actually enjoy the moment and perform whatever the activity, maybe it's studying, sports, or community work, um, any just going for a walk, whatever that particular activity within that moment. I mean, if you just pay attention to that, it's you get to enjoy that and not think what if. I mean, for me, it's as uh, a severely vision impaired person growing up till the age of 27 and then losing all the vision at the age of 27. So I got rid of that what if um, question, because it's not what if, so it's all about, for me, it's what now.
What
um,
now?
yeah. And again, I mean, people ask how I had made that transition from a severely vision impaired to a blind person, so at the age of 27, because I had to let go um, how I was performing activities, because vision was no longer available for me to gather information, so I had to rely I had to find a way to gather information through my sense of touch, sound, and smell, and the feel of things. Um, so I know when you hear that all of a sudden a person loses their vision, they said like, oh, they can't no longer do this activity, that activity. But for me, it was not about completely stopping and having a bit of a completely a fresh start. It's all about me, just me wanting to continue the activities in a different way, because just before I lost my vision, I actually had a very good example. We can say uh, like an inspiring person of sorts. It's my Braille teacher, and I mean, she was blind, yet she went to university and she's working. She traveled all over the world, and she does all the domestic work. So for me, that gave me confidence that knowing one day if I'm to lose all my vision, that there is a way of living and not giving up all the activities you love, because there are other way of carrying the same activities. So which is been the case oneself, because I mean from 2010 to date, I haven't stopped my travels or writing or community work or
Did you?
outdoor activities or anything like that. So I
I
mean
see that you haven't
that
stopped it.
environment, I mean, I'm grateful for for my family and members and all my friends and members of the Vision Australia Dandenong office for creating that environment for me to not to have that fear factor within myself, that saying as a blind person that it's all about struggle going
Yeah.
forward.
Did you go through a period of being really angry with the world and
No,
afraid?
because angry, no, because like I said before, because I had that person in my head, oh, all right, so I can just every time I go to Braille, it's just for my Braille lessons, it was just a great source of inspiration for me, and to readjust my life. And so in a way you can say I had a bit of a teacher to ask, as a blind person, how you go about with your mobility, or how do you go shopping. And
What about having to stop things that you were doing before you completely lost vision, and then just not being able to do those things anymore?
yeah, it was
Like
at that time, yeah, one example was with my community work. So I was no longer able to be like an active field work type thing, so participate on the field, uh, on those that kind of activities. So which that was a bit of a hard thing to do, but then again, nothing lasts forever. So I thought that might be a good time to let that activities to another person and maybe take up something new. So be an opportunity. So came along to do a bit of I guess planning work instead of coordinating and running the program. So I took on a role of planning. So again, I stayed within the same activity but took a different approach. So instead of completely letting go, so I think a lot of problem occur when people actually completely let go of the things. And like, for example, if I had to let go of the community work altogether, then I might be bitter with myself, if I had vision, I still be doing this and that.
yeah,
So that's when the thing starts. So, but for me, I I knew that I can still continue all the things I like differently, because now I had to live differently as a blind person, because vision is no longer there to help me. So it's just thinking differently, and it's just that living differently is something I know people take a while to adjust. It's something sighted people take.
yeah. It's I
It's
feel like
hard
it's
for
with you. It's almost like you didn't allow yourself to lose yourself. Like
no.
what was important to you is still the same thing that's important to you now. You
Yeah,
just found different ways to
yeah,
still include those things
yeah,
in your everyday
yeah.
life.
Because when we drive from Ender Hills to Melbourne, I mean, the common path is to take the Monash Freeway all the way to the city. But say, for example, around the Warragul area, if there's a roadblock and saying there's you can't go any further, you're not going to give up going to the city, because it's something you're going there for some. If it's an important activity, you're going to the city for. So you take Warragul exit, and you can take the Princess Highway to
Yeah.
the city. So it might take you longer, but it's another way of performing the same thing. So if you really want to reach target, there are always multiple ways of doing
This is
it.
what I mean about your positive attitude. Like, this is unique to you that I have noticed that you will find, like, you use your mind to find other ways to get the same result, or even not necessarily the same result, but to still allow yourself to
To
be,
reach to experience the same.
yeah, to,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it's,
It's something I had to learn to do from a very younger age, because like I said, even at in my high school days, I had a very severe vision impairment, and so studying in a mainstream school with sighted people
Yeah.
without any aids, and also playing um, sports with sighted people against sighted people. So I had to devise so many, I guess, different strategies to deal with that, and so and to enjoy the sports that I always, loved growing up, hockey and cricket
Wow.
and soccer, things like that. So I think it's something I developed since
Yeah.
during my childhood, and so now it's become like
Ingrained.
yeah, yes, like a second
That
nature to
reminds
me.
me of something else you once said to me about how when you found out that your vision wasn't going to be getting any better, in fact, it was going to get worse, instead of
Yeah,
being
around the
afraid and
12 and
upset
13.
about that,
Yeah,
you decided, well, heck, this may be the last time I can
yeah,
do this thing or see this thing,
yeah.
so I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest,
Yeah, that's what I said in the
living in
beginning.
the moment.
Living in the moment, and
Yeah.
I never worried about the what if, because what if you just go down the path of what if, it's a never-ending
Yeah.
road, because one thing after another is always a what if.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that, I've seen that with other people. I've noticed that the ones that have a really hard time accepting what is
Yeah,
really suffer.
yeah.
Whereas you somehow embraced what was and allowed yourself to then still enjoy the moment.
Because change is something we cannot,
Control.
control, and everything is impermanent. I mean, look, I mean, no one, I guess, accepted the crisis we are
Yeah.
in on the 31st night.
Yeah.
Do we? Like the 1st of Jan, we woke up. I mean, we had the bushfire crisis, but that's something, I guess, in Australia we used to, and but then in February, March, nobody anticipated that to be at the extent we are in now. So again, it's just all about adjusting. So and living in the just
Yeah, instead of giving all our energy to what we're angry about and what we can't change, like what can we do to
what
make
can we-
everything
yeah.
work and to bring something really good out of this experience.
Yeah, just making the most of this opportunity and of the available
Gifts that we
gifts
have
and
and
sources and abilities we have, because who
and
else?
coming together with other people too. Have you
Yeah.
found your relationships with others or allowing others to help or going out into the community and
I love letting others help. I always give if somebody comes up to me when they see my white cane asking for help, I always give them that opportunity to do that, because it's nice big way of for them to teach a little bit about living with a vision impairment, and so when they come across another person, so they are a bit more aware and a bit more equipped to help the next person. So I see every opportunity as a way to teach sighted people on. So that way, I guess it's easy for everybody to get along and interact.
again, you like that's perfect. Like you seeing the gift in the moment and also thinking about other people, how you can be of service to other people.
Because
And
everybody like to help. It's a human
Yeah.
nature. It's just people have that bit of hesitation when they see someone a bit different to themselves, how to go about it. Whether I'll be offending that person, whether I'll say the wrong thing, and there's I mean, I seen that with people when they approach me too. I totally said, it's totally fine. I'll allow you to do what you think is the correct thing. Then I'll teach you if you're doing anything wrong. So it's just about me helping them, so not somebody else can benefit from their help, because I mean, so it's just us helping each other
Yeah.
for the benefit of everyone. I mean, that's what people like to do, and again, I mean, helping me is something different. It's not something sighted people come across, so they need to give instructions differently.
Yeah. It just again, I'm just bringing into my mind the fact that when you have like a million reasons that you could be angry and
What's the point?
frustrated, you will once again just go and find the one reason to be so grateful and so happy about this moment.
I just,
What a way to live.
yeah, I mean, when a person approached me by teaching him, it just give him an extra skill to learn and another way of thinking about people and how people go about doing things differently because um, unless, I mean, before we came along, I mean, before we get to know each other, you probably didn't know about how a talking computer works with the JAWS software. So, because when
I
people think
definitely
of
didn't.
when people think of blind people, one thing comes to their mind is, how you go about finding information on the computer, how do you go about, identifying various objects, and there's so many questions pop into mind because we live in such a visual world, and when we go to the shopping center, everything is visual with advertisements and sales and this and that. So it's just I guess it's normal for a sighted people to have those questions and I guess hesitations how a blind person may find various things. So it's again just showing there are more than one way to do things. So I mean, I take every opportunity to teach others. There's always multiple ways to do things.
Yeah, well, you'd certainly find the positive in anything. I think that, I mean, you've taught me that I already knew that what you focus on expands, and when you're grateful for things, you're going to get more of it. But you have been like this living, embodied example of someone who is just grateful for each day, and like where you could be down and really angry.
Just being kind to yourself.
Yeah, this kindness exudes from you, and you show me how much each of us has to offer just by our being alone and what we choose to put out there in this world. And we can create anything because I see what you create with the challenges you face, that any of us with the right mindset and like that love in your heart and that kindness, we can do so much great things.
I mean, facing
so
challenges
many great things.
is a great learning curve.
Yeah, see, positive. The biggest challenge in the world, but look at how much I've learned.
And I have learned a lot. How to do things differently
in a whole new way and think outside the box and
totally. Because for me, it's I guess, I mean, if one great skill I learned is that problem solving, because the moment I step out of my house, everything is a problem solving because the path can be the footpath can be full of hazardous things, and the bus may not come the right time, and it's, I mean, when you're out there are so many things that as a blind person that I'm faced with. But it's all about solving problems and thinking outside the box and just being creative and enjoying those.
And not taking things too seriously.
No. It's
finding the joy in and humor
with your solutions and just seeing is there a quicker way to go from A to B from here to the calls.
Exactly, and I think especially in these times, like you are such a great example, and you have such a lot to teach people about what is possible and how we can.
We can't control what's happening outside in the environment because it's just us
impossible
finding concentrating what we can do instead of what ifs and what this and so many.
Well, that is the message of the day. And I have so many more questions, but I'll save them for another video because we're going to run out of time. But anything else you want to say before I...
No, I mean, just... I mean, people think living... Yeah, I mean, in terms of challenges, it's just, it's... I mean, it's not just for people with disabilities that, challenges is common too. I mean, everybody... as a human beings, we facing challenges is part of our living, and it's all about how we face them and how we overcome them, and whether we are willing to ask for help and accept help and yeah, just
Yeah.
and finding what is more relevant to you.
Yeah, beautiful. And be kind. Be kind. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Catch up with you soon.